LinkedIn, for our history, has been about people profiles. But last year, we introduced the capability for you to set up a company profile where your brands and your companies can have a presence. When people are setting up company profiles, they're doing a couple of things. So one, they're putting very specific creative assets on their company profile page. In this case, you're seeing images, you're seeing video, you're seeing white paper content. But you're also seeing social information come to this company presence. You're seeing folks put up products and services and get recommendations from very specific people about those products and services. And that's one of the fantastic things about the context that you get on LinkedIn. For Hewlett-Packard, when an IT director of a Fortune 100 company makes a recommendation about a product or service on your company profile page, it's extremely meaningful. So that professional context brings so much relevance to the recommendations that are happening. So not only did we set up these company profiles, which again, more than 2 million companies have adopted since launch, but we also introduced the concept of following a company. And following a company so far has meant something very different than other social platforms. Following a company for the last year has been very oriented around members getting very specific business insights from the companies that they're following. So in this case, with one click, once I follow a company and I'm looking at my home page, if, for example, I'm following American Express, I'm learning about the senior people moves that are actually happening within American Express. American Express is not actually making these updates on their company profiles. But by virtue of the fact that we have most of the employees that work at American Express, we're able to deliver those insights about the people moves at that company to our end users. We're also able to deliver targeted news. So in this case, if this is my homepage and I'm following Yahoo, I'm able to stay informed about what's happening. And not just any news about Yahoo, but news at Yahoo that other people in my network and in the broader network have found relevant. So it's not just the action of following Yahoo to get news about Yahoo, but the fact that 120 million other professionals have been sharing a particular story about Yahoo. And again, the intent here gets back to what Jeff described as business insights and business intelligence. We've wanted this feed to be a one-stop place for you to start your morning and to get intelligence about the companies that you work with and the companies that you compete with. And so just with this organic content alone, just with the business insights that were directed at our end users, since launch, we've accumulated over 100 million follows in the system. So that means there's 100 million relationships between our end users and the 2 million companies that have set up a presence over the last year on LinkedIn. And it's not just the aggregate number that's impressive. If you look company by company, IBM with over 470,000 followers. You have Microsoft with over 340,000 customers. And the list goes on. And many of the folks in this room, in fact, are likely on this list, because most of the folks in this room have recognized the greenfield opportunity of following on LinkedIn. Being able to be part of the largest professional network, getting in early, and establishing this asset of followers. But one of the questions that we've received over the last couple of months, and that we're very pleased to be announcing today, is what do I do with the followers? As a marketer, I understand the interest for the end user. I understand the value that the end user is getting. But how do I, as the marketer, engage in this conversation? How do I participate in the conversation with the fantastic folks on LinkedIn that are doing all this following? And that's what we're announcing today. Company status updates, where you are going to be able to directly message from your company profile all the followers that have already started following your company and all the followers that we're going to help you acquire for your company profile over the next several months. I want to quickly walk through how this works. So some of you are familiar with the administration page on your company profile. Now you're going to see a new box, which is a status update, an empty box here where you're going to be able to type text, attach links, attach videos, all sorts of content. And so someone like Oracle can come in here, write a message, attach some content, and then of course that content flows to the place that's of highest visibility on LinkedIn, the LinkedIn users homepage, the LinkedIn users network update feed. And so as these updates come in, there's very important social actions. You can see at the bottom here, you have like, comment, and share. And what that means is in addition to the direct conversation you're going to be able to have with the people that are following your company, you have these unique social actions on LinkedIn. When people like, when they comment, when they share, the content that you've pushed to these folks spreads throughout the network. And when we look at the beta customers that have been using company status updates just over the last couple of weeks, we see that in fact that in some cases, 20% of the people that are seeing this content aren't even following the company. They're seeing it because of these social actions. They're seeing it because the people that are following the company have liked, commented, or shared this content. And again, remember our context. It's incredibly powerful if you're Dell and you're sharing content and you have an IT professional that is then sharing with their professional network. Not only are you sharing it with lots of other people, not only are you getting the impact of virality, but the virality is hitting the right people. The professional network of that IT professional is filled with a bunch of other IT professionals. And so it's the context as well as the professional graph that really give this so much power. An important question for us all along the way at LinkedIn is who are your followers? And in fact, I was at one of the many cocktail parties this week for Adweek, and I had a marketer tell me that he had millions of followers on a social platform, but he would trade them in a heartbeat for 100,000 of the right followers. And that really, that particular message is something that we take to heart at LinkedIn. And we do it in a couple of ways. So first of all, we allow you very specifically to acquire the right followers. So you can get that right 100, so the marketer that I talked to can get the right 100,000 followers. And so in this case, this is a user's homepage. In this case, it's Mike, the IT manager's homepage. And instead of the beautiful Porsche ad, we're able to serve him an ad to ask him to follow Oracle. So in one click, he is able to follow Oracle in this case. And all the targeting mechanisms that Jeff talked about earlier, whether it's the professional profile data, title, seniority, or some of the more unique behaviors that happen on LinkedIn in terms of profile updates or the kinds of professional networks that people have, all of that is going to be available to you folks in order to acquire the right followers. And the right followers are really important for two reasons. One is the reason that's very obvious. You want to make sure that you're talking to the right people that are going to eventually buy your product or that may be buying your product today. But the other important reason is the right people following your company maximizes virality. And that's important to all of us in this room. When you have the right message to the right person that has the right professional network, that's when your probability of having your message spread broadly through the network to the right people increases. And so the right followers is so important to us. Our analytics are actually heavily geared around who the followers are. So in this case, you're seeing the very high-level dashboard that you're all going to have available to you in terms of understanding who are your followers. And so you see in this particular case, this is kind of a tag cloud view where you're able to see in detail the kinds of titles and the amount of frequency that specific titles are engaging your content. And then you're going to be able to click on this and drill down a level further. You're going to be able to see very specifically who your followers are by industry, by seniority, by function, really across all the LinkedIn data that we have. So you really understand the people that are following. But we also want to take it one step further. I've talked about how important the virality is. And so even in our dashboarding that we're going to be providing to you, we're going to make sure that we emphasize not just the followers that you have, but what their networks look like. What their networks look like in terms of reach, what their network looks like in terms of number of connections, and what their networks look like in terms of the amount of sharing activity going on. So you're actually going to see a lot of the derivative impact that your followers can have. And so I mentioned some early beta customers. Many of them are in the room today. But those that are leveraging the follower ecosystem have had phenomenal results. And so these are three customers. These are three categories, actually, of customers today. And these are charts of engagement with their company profile content before and after they started leveraging the company profiles ecosystem, before they started acquiring followers, before they started actively using their company status updates. And what's interesting is really the consistency in the results. The results in each of these cases have been literally an order of magnitude change in the engagement. And so this was something very important for us as we watch this program. I want to give two more examples of companies that have used these company status updates. And one of the most interesting things about the rollout of this program, specifically the beta program, at LinkedIn, the signal to noise ratio is extremely important to us. So any product that we launch, we want to make sure, because our audience is a bunch of usually professionals that have very limited time and come to LinkedIn for very high value actions, we want to make sure that the signal is very, very high. So one of the criteria to actually launch this product was to ensure that when companies were using the company status update feature, that there was engagement that fit that criteria. And in fact, when we first got the results back, we didn't believe them, because the results and the engagement numbers based on the content were so high relative to some of the other content that I've described earlier in Company Follow. And so at first we didn't believe it, and we started sorting through some of these company status updates to understand how on earth some of the messages from marketers could in fact be getting more engagement than some of the things that Company Follow was used for before, the things that had made Company Follow go from 0 to 100 million follows in the system. And what we found was things like the Dell status update. And the Dell status update at first glance may be slightly hard to understand why it's so compelling. In this case, it's Dell talking about a Gartner report about client virtualization. And for the folks in this room, that may not be the most interesting topic on the planet. But the folks in this room are not their target audience. Leonard, the global IT director, is their target audience. Their followers are largely made up of IT directors like Leonard. And those are the people that find content about the future of client virtualization extremely interesting. They're the ones that are sharing it with their professional networks. And so it's really the confluence of great, fantastic content, this channel that's now accessible to you, but finally the right people that makes this so compelling. Another case here, Harvard Business School education. This was a video, in fact, on the role of social media. It's a great video. Thank you, HBS. I learned a lot about social media. And was that an applause or no? And again, you get people like Susan Chen. You get a wide variety of folks that come back time and time again, that click consistently on the kind of content that's coming through this channel. And again, they're doing it because it's valuable. They're doing it because it's relevant. And when you're able to do that, you create a long-term trusting relationship with the right customers. And that is the very core of relationship marketing. You're not going to sign up for an executive education program with one display ad. You're not going to buy Dell servers for your entire organization with one display ad. But over a long period of time, with relationship marketing, where you are a part of making these professionals more successful, that's how you create these trusted relationships. And that's what we are very excited about with company status updates.